You can't tell me Minecraft is the worst movie of 2025 when Snow White exists. That's right.
You can't tell me Minecraft is the worst movie of 2025 when Snow White exists. That's right, one movie is shattering box office records, while the other is quietly sinking into the depths of failure. So what went wrong? How did a movie based on a blocky video game explode at the box office, while a Disney live-action remake of a beloved classic struggled to stay afloat? Stick around, because we're about to break down the chaos behind these two films, and trust me, what we uncover is going to surprise you.
Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends. That's how bad it is right now.
But it says, meanwhile, over in the kingdom of crumbling crowns, Disney's Snow White dropped like an enchanted apple.
The box office battle between Minecraft and Snow White couldn't be more lopsided. The Minecraft movie, which many critics had predicted would flop, came out swinging and made a staggering $60 million just on its opening Saturday alone. Meanwhile, Disney's Snow White barely scraped together $2 million after 3 weekends. That's not just a loss, it's a blowout. What makes this even more shocking is that Minecraft was supposed to be just another video game movie, a genre critics have long dismissed as a cash grab. But the film proved everyone wrong, dominating the box office with a global opening of $300 million. This wasn't just a small win, it was a complete takeover. The comparisons don't stop there. Snow White, despite Disney's massive marketing machine, couldn't even make a dent in Minecraft's success. After weeks in theaters, it's barely crossed $77 million globally. For a studio that once had the magic touch, Disney is now staring at a disaster on their hands. And this wasn't just about money, it's about the audience reaction. Minecraft drew in viewers of all ages, while Snow White struggled to find a crowd. It wasn't even a fair fight. Minecraft won, and it did so without trying to preach.
So, it got destroyed at the box office. Here's the box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made $2 million.
And of course, this weekend, Minecraft came out, which has absolutely dominated the box office, done significantly better than analysts even projected. And now we're finding out that Snow White has officially crossed $160 million.
So what went wrong with Snow White? The answer isn't just in the numbers, it's in the casting and the tone of the film. Disney made the bold decision to cast Rachel Zegler as the iconic Snow White, but that choice quickly became a controversy. Zegler didn't just take on the role, she spent her press tour actively trashing the original Snow White, from calling the classic outdated to making it clear that her Snow White wasn't going to be saved by a prince. Her comments alienated a huge portion of the film's potential audience. Fans didn't just feel let down by the character's reinvention, they felt attacked. But it wasn't just Zegler's comments that doomed the film. Disney had clearly strayed too far from the original magic of Snow White. Instead of leaning into the fairy tale's charm, they pushed a political message that felt forced and out of place. It was clear that Disney was trying to update the story to appeal to modern sensibilities, but in doing so, they lost the heart of what made Snow White a timeless classic. The result? A film that neither pleased longtime fans nor attracted new viewers. And as the box office numbers show, it was a major misstep for Disney.
Turned over $157 million while earning another $144 million internationally. The Minecraft video game was introduced in 2011 and sold more than 300 million copies. So it actually has a fan base, user base, people that care about it. In theory, Snow White should as well. Snow White's the movie that made Disney, the studio. They should have been more cautious and careful with their own IP. It's a $1 billion IP. The Disney Snow White, faithfully adapted, would have made $1 billion.
The Snow White disaster goes deeper than just a poor box office performance. It's about how Disney handled one of the most beloved stories in film history. Instead of staying true to the heart of the fairy tale, the 2025 remake felt more like a modernized, politicized version of the classic, and that's where they lost their audience. The changes Disney made to Snow White's character were some of the most talked about, and for all the wrong reasons. Gone was the innocent, kind-hearted girl we've known for decades. Instead, we got a version who didn't dream of true love, but aimed to be a leader, with no prince in sight. While Disney tried to sell Snow White as a feminist take, they completely missed the point of what made her story magical in the first place. The themes of courage, kindness, and hope. Fans who had grown up watching the original were left confused and disappointed. The film's focus on political correctness, rather than the timeless qualities of the fairy tale, felt more like a lecture than an adventure. And by straying so far from the beloved 1937 classic, Disney made one huge mistake. They lost the magic. Instead of delivering a captivating, heartwarming story, they handed the audience a version of Snow White that no one asked for.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Rachel Zegler's comments were like a spark to a powder keg, and they might just have been the final nail in Snow White's coffin. From the moment she was cast as Snow White, Zegler became the center of controversy, not because of her acting, but because of her outspoken criticism of the original story. In interview after interview, she made it clear that the classic Snow White was outdated and problematic, and that her version would be more empowered and modern. These remarks didn't sit well with fans who cherished the original, not just for its animation, but for the innocence, charm, and depth of the fairy tale. Instead of embracing the legacy of one of Disney's most iconic characters, Zegler seemed intent on rewriting it. She dismissed the idea of Snow White waiting for a prince, and made it clear that the prince's role in the story would be entirely different, or even absent. But what she didn't realize was that the magic of the original wasn't just about romance, it was about the journey, the lessons, and the hope Snow White symbolized. By openly bashing that legacy, Zegler didn't just alienate fans, she ignited a firestorm. Disney's decision to let her speak so freely without controlling the narrative only made the situation worse.
Literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is?
Oh my God.
She's talented, she's attractive, she's got skill, but there are a lot of actresses in Hollywood who bring all that to the table and are not going to absolutely sabotage your work.
Snow White isn't just a box office flop, it's a glaring example of what happens when studios push woke agendas at the expense of storytelling. Disney's attempt to make the film a modern commentary on gender and power completely overshadowed the magic of the original fairy tale. The result was a movie that tried so hard to be progressive that it forgot what made Snow White special in the first place: timeless themes of kindness, courage, and love. Instead, we were presented with a Snow White who didn't need a prince, who didn't dream of true love, and whose focus was on leadership and independence, qualities that might be admirable in their own right, but they felt out of place in this context. This shift in focus alienated not only traditional Disney fans, but also turned the movie into a political battleground. Critics and audiences alike were frustrated by what felt like an agenda being pushed rather than a story being told. Disney, in its quest to please the loudest voices online, lost sight of what made their classic tales resonate with millions. The phrase "go woke, get broke" has never felt more accurate. In trying to satisfy political correctness, Disney failed to create a film that people actually wanted to see, and the box office numbers prove it.
So you had the marketing material not being all that good, a lot of advertisements were really mediocre for this film, and to top it off, they made tons of changes and they strayed away from the source material, which upset a lot of fans.
In stark contrast to Snow White's failure, the Minecraft movie surged ahead, defying expectations and becoming a massive success. Critics were quick to dismiss it, calling it too simplistic, too childish, and certainly not a contender in the world of big-budget Hollywood blockbusters. But here's the twist: Minecraft blew all those predictions out of the water with a global opening of $300 million. While critics scratched their heads, the audience voted with their wallets, and they loved it. What made Minecraft stand out wasn't just its massive fan base, it was the sheer fun and escapism it offered. The film didn't try to preach or push any political message, it simply gave fans what they wanted: an exciting, lighthearted adventure. And that's something the audience could actually enjoy without being bombarded by a lecture. Minecraft stayed true to its roots, focusing on the elements that made the game so successful: creativity, adventure, and fun. The movie's massive success wasn't just about a catchy brand or nostalgia, it was about understanding the audience. It was the kind of film that appealed to fans of all ages, from kids to teens and even adults. In a world of overcomplicated, preachy films, Minecraft reminded us that sometimes all people really want is a good time at the movies.
Whereas the Snow White model is the message ad infinitum, shoved directly up your ass, and most importantly, in the most insufferable possible way, like screamed at you by an ugly woman for 2 hours.
With Snow White's catastrophic performance, Disney now finds itself in a tight spot. The studio, once the undisputed king of family entertainment, is facing serious questions about its future. After decades of box office dominance, Disney seems to have lost touch with its core audience. Snow White should have been a slam dunk, a beloved classic given a modern twist. Instead, it's turned into one of the biggest failures in recent memory. And it's not just the poor reception that's the problem, it's the way Disney handled the situation. Inside the company, whispers of tension are growing. Insiders say that execs are frustrated with the disastrous marketing campaign and the backlash from fans who felt betrayed by the film's political messaging and radical departure from the original story. Some blame the writing team for disregarding feedback from test audiences, while others point to the casting decisions as the tipping point. But the real issue is that Disney hasn't been able to admit it made a mistake. Instead of course correcting, they've doubled down, pushing an agenda that clearly wasn't resonating with viewers. As the company scrambles to salvage its reputation, one question lingers. Can Disney recover from this? Will they return to the storytelling magic that made them great? Or will they continue down the road of hollow remakes and preachy agendas? Either way, Snow White was a wake-up call for the once unassailable Disney empire.
Itself. We keep blaming Rachel Zegler, and she's an easy scapegoat. And I think they're scapegoating her on purpose. But the entire movie was trash. All of Rachel Zegler didn't write Snow White. Right? Rachel Zegler didn't cast Snow White. The studio did. It's a Disney problem. Disney did these things.
The reason Snow White is called Snow White in this version of the film, because of course she is not white as snow, is because she and her family go through a snowstorm and survive the snowstorm, and so it's a mark of her resilience. That's why she's called Snow White.
The failure of Snow White and the unexpected triumph of Minecraft have left Hollywood reeling, and Disney in particular is at a crossroads. The lesson here is clear. Audiences want stories that honor their roots, not preachy, over-politicized reimaginings of the classics. Minecraft succeeded because it didn't try to lecture. It simply focused on fun, adventure, and nostalgia, and the audience responded. Disney, on the other hand, tried to force-feed a message that didn't fit the story, and in doing so, alienated the very fans it was supposed to be serving. So, what's next for Disney? Will they listen to the outcry from fans and return to the storytelling that made them great? Or will they continue to chase social trends at the expense of their legacy? The future of Disney and of Hollywood in general depends on whether studios can strike the balance between innovation and respect for their roots. Audiences don't just want to be entertained, they want to feel a connection to the stories they love. As for Snow White, it's a cautionary tale for anyone in Hollywood thinking that woke messaging can replace genuine storytelling. The question now is, will the industry learn from this failure, or will they continue to push films that miss the mark? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.